So alive. Hello, John. How are you?
I am wonderful. How are you doing, Meir?
I'm doing extremely well. I'm in heaven. So, what can be wrong with being in heaven?
I got to admit, Cape Town is pretty darn amazing, and it like any major city, it has some things that are, but it has so many really truly amazing aspects to it. It was a beautiful, beautiful place to live. I can definitely understand why you're there.
Yeah, it's heaven and it's the best place ever. And the people are really nice and the view is very nice. And when there is food, it's very nice. Right now, all the rest but the people are really special in Cape Town.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what I like the most. People are really, really nice.
That's excellent. I know a lot of people have preconceived notions about, different places, and like that was kind of what I was getting at when I was saying like there's some things about Cape Town that there are negative perceptions about certain things, but if you look at it as a whole, you can see the minuses are very small in all actuality. Like there's so many amazing things about it that they're dwarfed by the positives of it.
Yeah, I just don't see minuses.
Well, yeah.
And that's a viewpoint on life.
Yeah.
Because in life you can either expect things to give you the feeling, and they will give you joy or pain or etc.
Yeah.
And then when you're expecting, you'll wait for many years. Or you can put the good in them, and then you don't have to wait. You just decide it is amazing. You don't admit of anything bad. It's not that there isn't bad, but you don't admit it. Why? Because you're creating it. So if you're creating it, even if it seems bad, it's actually not, because I created it.
Okay, so I definitely can see what you're saying there, and it kind of. Can you elaborate more on this idea of you create what's there? Because a lot of people, well, bluntly, they don't see it that way. A lot of people think that I'm doing this and I'm impacted. I'm the effect of what other people do. Like I've been a part of your classes for 7 years and like all this stuff, and I get what you're saying. Like I love it. But for somebody who's brand new, that is just coming in here, and there's, Meir, how can you possibly have got what you wanted by putting something that may not be positive, or from someone's point of view might be negative, but from another point of view, how can you say it's positive?
Okay, good. So let's have a look. So to understand what's actually going on, we need to look at, if I take, let's say I take a situation, okay? And would you agree that if I would put 4 different people looking at that situation, they will have totally different experiences, and they will handle and even if they have the same experience, they will handle it differently.
Yeah.
The one will be excited about it, and you will see opportunities. For example, I saw the crash in the real estate market in, when was it? 2010, 8, 9, something like that. 8. And for me, it was exciting. It was, wow, that's a lot of opportunities. That's beautiful. Whoa. It's not so beautiful for the people that lost. But from my viewpoint, I can actually make it the best thing ever. And I think anyone can make it the best thing ever. And I was teaching people how to make it the best thing ever. And they did. Another person will look at the same situation, same resources, same place, same everything. And he will say, well, I need to think what to do about it.
Yeah.
And he will think for a long time. Another person will be angry about the situation. Another person will be worried about the situation. What does it mean? It means that the situation is not constant.
Okay.
Because if the viewpoints are different, it means that the situation is not constant. So the situation has nothing to do with what's going on, because different viewpoints handle the situation differently. If it was the same, if the situation was, okay, this is what it is, this is coffee, that's the end of that, and there's nothing to do, then everyone will feel the same, will act the same, will do the same, they will have the same viewpoint, but it's not. So because that's what happened, we can first of all realize that what's actually going on is defined not by the situation, but by you. So you are the boss, not the situation. That's number one. I took a business, and that business was not doing well, and I put another manager, same staff, same business, same market, put another manager, it went even worse. Put another manager, it went even worse. Put another guy, all in a matter of 4 or 5 weeks, because when I put someone, I'm expecting an improvement immediately. Only a matter of 4 or 5 weeks. I put another guy, and within the next week, things started to go affluence, like extremely high improvement. If the situation was the controlling factor, changing the person will not change anything.
Yeah.
But the changing the person change everything. Now, why people get mixed? Because they have a fixed viewpoint. Because they have a fixed viewpoint, they think that everything else is fixed. So what do you do? You need to understand a few things. You need to understand that when you take a viewpoint, when you say, this is what I think, what you actually said, you said that one viewpoint is right, and 8 billion other viewpoints is wrong, and obviously it's not right. So what's the right way to look at things? Is to be willing to win and lose with the same level of enthusiasm, which means I can see any viewpoint and decide at will to act like this or like that. And one of the best exercises to improve your abilities, one of the best exercises to improve as a person, is to take something that you really believe it's like that. You believe your wife is, I don't know, don't love you, okay? Just for a day. Just decide that she loves you. You believe that it's impossible to lose weight, that you have to eat. Decide for a day or for a week that the best thing, the thing that you love the most, is to be hungry. Just for a week. Just for a day, decide that the thing that you love the most is to be hungry. Just change your viewpoint, and you will see that once you're able to change your viewpoint, your life will change. So if you think that you don't achieve what you want in your life, what you need to do is not to change your life. You need to change your viewpoint. You just need to take, but not actually the viewpoint that will actually bring you specifically the result that you want, but just try to train this muscle that's called not being stuck on a viewpoint. Just train that muscle that is called not being stuck on a viewpoint. Of course, there's much more to learn about it, much more. And actually, I will suggest something here that anyone listen to this Facebook Live or Instagram Live or YouTube Live, or anyone that will hear the recording, follow me on Instagram, Meir Ezra Official, write me a private message, and ask me to send you The Enemy Within. It's an actual video that or class that I've done that explain why you find it so hard to train this muscle of changing your viewpoint, although you know instinctively that you just need to change your viewpoint. You don't like to go to the gym, you need to change your viewpoint to start to like to go to the gym. You don't like to feel hungry, you need to change your viewpoint if you want to lose weight. You don't like your husband, you need to change your viewpoint if you want a good relationship. And the change of viewpoint can be I like him, and the change of viewpoint can be I can live without him, or I can fix it. But there must be a change of viewpoint, because your viewpoint, not the situation, define your result. Your viewpoint, not your situation, define the result. And before you will get this thing totally 100% unquestionable, before you will be certain on that thing, your viewpoint, not the situation, define your result. Before you will get that, your result will be totally random and never what you want.
Yeah.
So private message me and I'll give you the tools, because it's much more to explain. It's not something that we'll do in half an hour or 20 minutes that we've got left.
Sure.
Make sense?
Yeah, it definitely does. I was looking at this and I'm seeing, I live in the US and there's a fair bit of craziness going on beyond the normal corona at this situation or at this point. And so like just seeing all these different points of views of people that are upset, and I can see how they're upset. And so, but I personally was struggling with, well, what is it about one particular area that is so more important than like the whole paradigm shift? And like, that was what I was struggling with was, I was looking at it from, from the point of view of all lives matter versus Black Lives Matter. Because to me, when you single out one group, you're now saying that it's not, or that by differentiating them from caring about the entire, you're now saying that they can be less, or that it didn't sit right with me. And so I'm trying to,
I think that the message is what they try to say is, look, you've been attacking us, or people been attacking us, or we've been considered to be someone that should be attacked or controlled or something like that, and it's not okay. And I think that this is right. I don't think I know that it is right. And we can explain within a second why people select a group to attack, okay? And I think that this is right. I think it's very right. They not only should get equal treatment because they are equal, not only that. And I want to tell you, when I say people are equal, I'm not meaning that everyone is the same. No, every person is not the same of every person. You have 3 children, they are not the same. You love them all the same, but there's one that you love more, yes? So it's not to say that everyone is equal, yes? It's nonsense to say that everyone is equal. But what I mean equal, it means that everyone has the right to raise to the highest he can, and has the right to have no one blocking him. And what's happening right now, overtly or covertly, for many years, different groups being targeted. It's the Jews, it's the black, it's the foreigners, it's the blacker, the whiter, these different groups. This craziness didn't just happen. And we will talk about how it happened, okay, within a second. So what's important to understand that equal mean only equal in potential. Okay? Not equal in results. You still, the person have to change his mind and to decide that he can bring the result. Okay? Now, this is right. Okay? Now, what's the problem that's going on here? Something bad was done. Something really bad was done. And the one incident is bad, but I think that this incident is just one. Okay? And what happened is, really, you have to understand that what you see here is something not ethical. What does it mean, not ethical? Not ethical mean that someone in the group did something against the moral code of the group. Okay? And let me explain a little bit more. Moral is the ability to see right from wrong and to act from that viewpoint. So what does it mean, the ability to see right from wrong? You look at something and you say, what would be the greatest survival to the greatest number of people or things? If you can think like that, you are moral. That's the definition of the word moral, okay?
Okay.
Now, moral code is a group over time see that a certain behavior improve the survival. So, for example, criminal knows that not telling the police is good for them. It's improved their survival. So that's their moral code. We, the normal people, or the majority, think that it's a good idea to tell the police. So our moral code is tell the police. The Jewish people have a moral code, maybe the Ten Commandments. Most religions have a similar moral code, okay? Atheists don't have that kind of moral code, maybe, or maybe they have something else. So a moral code is a method of behaving that if you behave like that, you improve the survival of the group. When someone does something that goes against that agreed upon moral code, he's not ethical. So if I'm a policeman and the moral code is that that was agreed, I should protect the citizens, and I'm going and I'm killing citizens for no reason or even with a reason, then I went against the moral code of the group.
Yeah.
So I'm not ethical, okay? Now, that's when justice comes in. What is justice? Justice is what the group is doing to get that individual, not a group, an individual to become moral again, okay? And you do that by different ways. You put force on him, and by putting force on him, you convince him that the force that you put him is more painful than the pleasure of being unethical, and he decides to be ethical or not. When all this thing goes crazy, when the person been arrested and he's being he actually being brought to justice, if you now continue to punish him and his family and his friends and his and people that looks like him and people that came from the same country or people that have the same color or whatever, you find something that you continue to punish people that has nothing to do with that injustice. And why is it injustice? Because you wouldn't want that to happen to you. You wouldn't want that to happen to you. You wouldn't want you, just because you are white or just because you are black and some other white person or some other black person did something, now the police go and arrest you. That's what you're fighting against. You're fighting against that. So to go and be violent and destroy people that are have not been out ethics, they're not been not ethical, you actually bring about injustice. And the problem with injustice, the problem with revolutions, that they never actually bring the expected result when it is done by force. The only revolutions that actually brought the expected results are those revolutions that did not been done by force. Because otherwise you replace one dictator with another. You replace one set of laws with another set of laws. And they're both not good because you didn't change the real reason. The problem is not the law. The problem is not the law. The problem is not what the law said. The problem is not how many policemen will go to jail now. This is good in terms of justice actions. But if you continue more than that, you yourself doing injustice.
Yeah.
You're asking for justice and you're doing injustice. And that's not going to be okay because it will not improve your position. What will improve your position? First of all, ask for justice. Once justice is served, that's it. End of story. Go back to normal. You can protest. You can, and I think it's good to protest. I think it's good to say. I think it's good to fight this thing out, but not hurting people. Yes, not hurting unrelated people. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that the main thing is What you want to look at is why actually you are in this position. How can you become responsible? How can you be responsible for your condition? So what I would demand if I was a black person or whatever person that's fighting for his rights, I would say, first of all, put them in jail and of course apologize and pay me a lot of money so at least the family will become Jewish. I'm joking. At least the family will become rich, yes, so that it will have money to, not that it's compensation in any way, but this is the minimum, yes?
Yeah.
But then what I will do is I will lead a movement that will say, I want to empower those people that have been oppressed for so long. How do you empower them? You demand that they will get extra push for education. You demand that they will get extra conditions so they will become more educated, more successful. But this is what you demand, yes? But you, internally, all the leaders, all the churches, everyone must demand from each person in the community to become more responsible. Stop blaming, because when you blame, even if you are right, you say, God will help me to explain how you are to blame at what I've done. If my condition is bad, it's me. If my condition is bad, it is me. It is me. I was there. I put myself there. I'm not to blame. Maybe someone shoot me. I'm not to blame. He shoot me. He should go to jail. But I'm responsible.
Yeah.
I'm responsible. And that viewpoint is quite fascinating. And maybe we should explain also what is responsibility, etc. Maybe today or maybe in some other interview. But that's the problem, right? What you see right now is the problem that people do not understand, that justice becoming justice after the person has been stopped. He cannot do any more unethical thing. That's it. End of story. No more. Now, why the police will attack a group? Why one group will attack another group? That's a very important thing to know, and this is something that you need to be very aware of. Someone that you don't see, someone that speaks through someone else, through the media, but the actual forces, you don't see them, convince you that the other side is not a person, is not human. They are animals. The common denominator to all wars is they are animals. The white in South Africa, before the end of the apartheid, actually was thinking that the blacks are animal. The German thought that the Jews are animal. That's why they can burn them. Yeah. Like when someone kill a sheep, or when someone kill a cow or slaughter them, it's okay because they're animal. It's an agreed upon. That's the moral code. I don't say that I think it's okay, but that's the moral code. That's the majority of people eat meat, so they agree with that, even if they don't say anything. So the problem is that if you see some person want to kill another person, if you see some person want to go to war with another person, to shoot another person, you have to know that you've been convinced that the other side is an animal. I've seen it in the army, I've seen it in history, I've seen it when I see a husband and wife fighting. The wife will say he's an animal, and the husband will say no, she's an animal, or they give it a different names. They always need a name. They need to label the guy as someone not as human. Yeah. He's a narcissistic idiot or whatever. They named him, yes? But it's never true. It's never true. People are people and they always have good intention. And you need to be very tuned to who is telling you that someone else is an animal or narcissistic or insane or something, and don't accept it. Don't accept it. Because you need to know that people, despite the action, have good intention. They may have bad actions, but the intention is good. Because if you look at yourself, and at the last time that you did something bad, some kind of a sin, big, small, and there's not one person in the universe that didn't do a few thousand. The last time you did it in an effort to resolve a problem. You did something bad, but you wanted to solve a problem. You didn't know how. You just didn't know how. So before you're judging so badly someone else, you have to know that first of all, human. And because they're human, you need to treat them as human regardless of their actions. What does it mean to be human? The definition of the word human is a conscious being with a good intention operating a body. A conscious being, always with a good intention, operating a body, not necessarily operating it correctly, operating a body. You understand?
Yeah.
If you really understand that, you will have a totally different viewpoint on life. Let me just say hi to people here. Hi, Dolly. Hi, Dustin. Good to see you. Amit. And who do I see here? The Traveling Masters. That's nice. I don't know who is the Traveling Master. And Andrea, hi. Luciana, hi. And Roy's 58. Who are you? Write to me the name. Write your names, so I will know who you are on Instagram. Okay, very nice. Thank you for joining, and I hope you're finding this thing valuable. If you have any questions, you can ask the question. Hi, Uriel. Hi, Marcel. Nice to see you. Mariah. Hi, Maria. Yes, nice to see you. Good. Okay, good. More questions.
Okay, so that was amazing. Thank you. If people, you've been doing these interviews for about 2 weeks, a little over, actually 3 or 4, I think. And you've given your time to others. You're a successful businessman. Why, Meir? Why are you doing this?
That's a very good question. Okay, so right now, what's going on the planet is we have a moment of extreme upset. Extreme upset. This upset is caused, and I'm not so. It's not really important. I am explaining it in my webinars, but it's not really important how it's been caused or who it's caused it, but it's been caused, and it's not been caused by who you think it is, because if you knew who causing it, actually, you will be able to do something about it. And right now, I didn't see people doing something effective about it, okay? And what I've seen since December, when this thing started, I started to say the corona is just nonsense. People say, well, the corona is a pandemic. And I said, look, pandemic is a situation where you have bodies in the streets, when next to every hospital, you have beds in the parking lots. When people have so many deaths that tractors or bulldozers come and push the bodies, a lot of body death is different. I was looking. Do you know how many people die so far up to now, 5 months into the year? How many people die? More or less.
It's like what? It's
how many people?
2%, something like that, of the population. So, like, you're talking about millions.
I'll give you an actual number right now. So I'll give you the exact numbers. Okay. So yes. Look, it's quite fascinating. Okay. Right now, how many people die up to now from corona? Do you know? More or less.
Last I checked, about 300,000 is the number that was reported.
400,000. Okay.
Okay.
Good. Do you know how many people die so far? 24 million, 803, 453, 4, 5, 6. This is how fast it's go. Every second, every day we have 150,000. The day did not finish, yes? Today, there was 150,990 people die. If you want to find it, go to worldmeters.info and you'll see a real-time information, okay?
Yeah.
Now, people die from pneumonia, car accidents, blah, blah. Let me give you from what they die, okay? Let me give you some statistics. Okay. Communicable diseases. Do you know how many people died this year so far? Just up to now, in the last 5 months. What? Give me a number.
Communicable diseases, let's say 400,000, 450,000.
Good. 5.474366 million people. Now.
So you're telling me that that's more than Corona?
How many people die from abortion? How many people die in abortion? 17.9 million. How many children die under the age of 5? Death of children under the age of 5, not one of them from Corona. 3.2 million. How many people die from flu? 205,000. How many people die from HIV so far? That's infected, sorry. Dead by HIV, 708,000 people. Cancer, 3.4 million. Death caused by smoking, 2.1 million. Death caused by alcohol, 1.1 million. So you look at that and you see the hysteria over 400,000 people. Excuse me, this is not a pandemic. There is a virus. But anyone that says that this is a pandemic probably is on some kind of drugs. Or he has some alter motive to make you scared. Because if you take 300,000 people, let's take 300,000 people, or 400,000, 500,000 people, okay? 500,000 people divided to 300 countries, more or less, it's 1,600 people per country. So if I divide it by capita, it will be correct per the countries.
Yeah.
And there is no 400,000 people that die from Corona, definitely not 500, not even 200,000. Why? Because the counting is incorrect. And if you don't know that, go and check. Look for my Corona's Truth number 14, Meir Ezra. Find it in YouTube. Watch it. You will be surprised. So one thing for sure, there is no pandemic. There is not even a risk of pandemic. There's not even a risk of pandemic. It's nonsense. It's lies. Think about it. So they say in Israel, you now can go to restaurants and you can get 50 people together. But only on Tuesday or next Tuesday, you'll be able to be on 100 people together. And this nonsense with their masks, oh my God. So how this thing all connected to what's going on in the US? In order, there's a law that says the following. People that agree to small lies will agree to big lies. People that agree to small lies will agree to big lies. So if you agree to any small lie about the Corona and you don't actually look, you will agree to bigger lies like you need to be controlled, you need to be followed, you need to give up your rights, you need to. You know, 9/11 happened and the American was so happy to give up all the freedom, like in 2.5 seconds. All the freedoms, and they agreed to go to wars and they agreed to go to all kind of things, which you look at that and you see it's not logical because it didn't bring the expected results. Yes, it didn't bring the expected results. So now you're putting hundreds of millions of people through a terrible process of being checked and strict, and you make everyone criminal because someone may be criminal. You know, 9/11 was bad. Happened once every how many years? And
Once.
you put a whole country into this extreme. And the problem with this is you have you make those laws that are coming to solve a problem, and those laws stays. No one cancels them because people get used to the bigger lie. You agree to a small lie, you will get used to the bigger lie. You agreed once that well, you know, the lie is, well, black people are dangerous. Just it's a lie, because it cannot be that all black people are dangerous, and it cannot be that all Jewish people are dangerous, and it cannot be that all yellow people are dangerous. It's not, maybe one person, or you agree to the lie of Muslims are terrorists. It's a lie. It's a lie. I'm Jewish. I'm telling you, Muslims are good people, 100%. I know because I meet them. Yes,
Yeah.
but you agree to the lie that Muslims are bad or dangerous just because they are Muslims. And the problem is that you agree to a lie. Once you agree to that lie, you will agree that Muslims should not come to the country. And once you agree to that lie, you will agree to the next thing and next thing and next thing. And I'm Jewish. And I'm telling you, we have some kind of a disagreement, yes? But that disagreement do not mean anything as he has a viewpoint, I have a viewpoint, I can see his viewpoint. If I cannot see his viewpoint, the situation will never be solved because I'm not cause over it.
And there's nothing you can do about it if it's not something that you can do something about.
Yeah, thank you. You make the other side total cause. So you make yourself effect. You actually lost. So this is really quite fascinating. You need to know that you agree to a small lie, you will, no doubt, agree to much bigger lies. And one day you will find yourself in jail for no reason at all, but you agree to those lies. When you agree to the small lies, you thought it will not happen to me. Have a look again. Have a look again. It will happen to you. It will.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can see that actually you can check if a country goes up or down by the number of laws that the country puts out. Why? What does it mean, a law? A law mean, I told you earlier that you've got this moral. When people are moral, they don't need a law.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't need the moral code because they know what is right and what is wrong. Yes, so they don't need the law. What happened is that over time, let's say there was a law that I'll give you an example in Israel. Okay, so the law there's no law in Israel that says that the prime minister that has been accused and actually he's gone to court now as someone that accused in very serious criminal offenses. It doesn't say that you cannot be a prime minister. It says you cannot be a minister, but it doesn't say that you cannot be prime minister. Why? Because up to now, when other prime ministers had any kind of illegal suspicions, they immediately resigned. We had Rabin, we had Barak, we had, not Barak, I mean Olmert, and they immediately resigned because that was the moral thing to do. So no one thought that you need the law, yes? When a law comes when society deteriorates and the individual are doing something that no one thought that they would do because it's not honored, it's not the honor, the right thing to do. It's just that no one thought that someone will do that. So no one needed the law because no one will do it. Yes? Then you put a law, which means that every time you put a law, you put a restriction on everyone, you reduce the freedom of everyone at a certain degree because some people cannot be moral. They cannot be moral. They cannot see right from wrong. And you will see that when a lot of people cannot see right from wrong, you have a lot of laws, and when you have a lot of laws, you have a deterioration. You can check any society. The society started to deteriorate when more and more laws has been put on. You look at old Greece, all the the Caesars and all of that. So Rome, all Rome. So Rome was all over. There was no laws, and it was let's do business with everyone. And it's totally okay, fine. You want to do business? We're doing business. We really want to make a lot of money, and we want to exchange, and everything is good, and everything is beautiful. And then one Caesar came and said, no. We need to put gates. We need to put laws. We need to decide how the business get done. We need to put control. And it didn't took long before Rome disappeared. You will see, and in every group, you take your church, take your synagogue. If you're going to a synagogue, take any group. You'll see that once you start to put laws, is because the individuals are not moral, and at that moment the group start to deteriorate. There's no more group. Yeah. The more laws you have, the less groups you have, the less of a group you have. The more laws you have, the less of a group you have. And you want to see how groups get deteriorated is laws. Let me just read quickly the messages here. So regulation is good, but what about over-regulation, and where do you draw the line? I think that the laws, regulations are two different things. Laws is something that say what's right, what's wrong, and basically says you cannot decide what's right, what's wrong. Regulation maybe give you what's the definition of a regulation is out of experience, what people find, what the group find is the best method of handling things. Not moral code, not what's right and what's wrong, but the best way to operate a car is like that. That's a regulation. Laws is don't go above 90 kilometers per hour. That's not the best way to operate a car. This is, I cannot trust you to make the decision at what speed to drive. So I will tell you what speed to drive because you are useless. Different thing. The more laws, the worse you get. The more laws, the worse you get. That's the basic thing you need to understand. The more laws a group need, the worse the group is, because you need laws only when the individual has deteriorated to such a degree that he is not to be trusted with what is right and what is wrong. So he needs a machine that's called the law. He needs a robot to sit next to him and tell him when to drive and when not to drive, because he cannot decide. He's useless. So how useless is a country? You check how useless is a country is by the number of laws. And you will see when a country starts, when there's no laws, the expansion goes like that. It goes like unbelievable. And the more laws you have, the slower the expansion. Why? Because laws are limitations. Laws are limitation. And the problem is that laws, I will be very happy with the law if it will be something like that. I think that the laws should be like that. This is the law for the next 5 years. And in the next 5 years, this is how we're going to train and educate people to become more responsible. And once they're more responsible, we will lift the law and check what's going on. That would be the correct way to do laws. If I was deciding how laws should be done, I would say, put a law in. There's a situation, you put a law in, you handle the fire. People went insane, good, no problem, we'll put a law in. But then immediately, as part of the law, it should be a law that is part of the law, you do the handling so the law can be removed.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that, what you do, you cement the uselessness of that society in that area. And the more areas you have, you agree with the lie, the small lie that you are useless in one area, this is a law, you agree with that, there will be more uselessness, more lies, bigger lies. And then they will do laws that have nothing to do with anything. You have to use mask. It doesn't help. It's the World Health Organization, it's not good. You don't need to be a doctor to know that when you breathe in good air, you use it and you exhale the toxin. So what they tell you is breathe all day the toxin. You don't need to be a doctor to understand it's bad. Now, you don't need to be a doctor to understand that a virus will go through anything. It goes through anything. So they say, well, it's that if you sneeze or something, or if you talk, that it will not be spread. Seriously, when you're going to kill me by breathing all of this bad toxin in order that when I will talk, I will not sneeze. But let's say I did not sneeze and nothing come from here. This thing need to be totally blocked, and if not, it's useless. And then things will come out, and the viruses will get to the surface because I'm touching myself. It will get to the surface, and the viruses go through the surface. And you want to control this tiny thing that live through eons, much before, probably before people. You want to control them and kill them or prevent them by masks that people doing at home, or by scarves, or by, come on, how stupid can you get? Now, the problem is how stupid can we get? Now, what I'm saying is, yes, put the mask on, because that's the law, never break the law, but don't agree. And don't underestimate the power of your disagreement. Don't underestimate. You don't have to go and even protest against it. Just spiritual protest is bigger than all the protests in the world. Because the protest, what they do, they change mind. So if you can change mind just by thinking, you will see things will change. Quite unbelievable.
For sure.
Good. Excellent.
So I really appreciate all the time that you've given me here today. I'm curious, if people are like me and have enjoyed this, where else can we find you? I see you've got up on the screen www.meirezra.com/yoga. What's going on? Why is yoga important? How does that play into these physical things that we've been talking about?
Okay, good. So first of all, if you, I'm doing on every Sunday at 3 p.m. A free webinar where I teach the secrets of life. I'm doing it around yoga and something that's called the Yoga Sutras. And the Yoga Sutras is a kind of a series of axioms that describe the blueprint of the physical and spiritual universe and the connection between them, and how to release yourself from the draconian clause of the physical universe. Okay, and it's an ancient knowledge that we learn the basic truth about it, and we're improving. But in reality, while I'm using yoga as the subject, the reality is that I'm not really talking about yoga, because I'm talking about life. If I'm talking about life, it will apply to yoga, to coffee, to cigars, to relationship, to anything. Everything I teach you is basic principles that changes life. Okay? So what you have to do, you have to understand that if you want to learn anything, or if you want to learn with me at least, my definition of the word learning is not adding data. My definition of the word learning is giving you truth that delete falsities. So I'm not actually getting you to add data, I'm getting you to remove data. And when you remove enough data, you discover that you knew, you always knew. And you know that you know, yes? So how do you register? You either go to www.meirezra.com/yoga, and you can see it on Facebook and YouTube, or you can go to my bio if you're seeing me in Instagram. And if you have any questions, if you want any help on any subject, on anything, all you have to do is go to Instagram, send me a message, and within a day or a day and a half, you'll get an answer, and you'll get an answer that not necessarily you're going to like, but it will be effective. It will work.
Yeah.
So what I'm teaching you is not what you want to hear. It's not going to make you feel good or anything like that. If you want to feel good, these are other things to do. Eat a chocolate cake. But what it's going to do, it's going to be effective. It's going to help you. Okay. The seminars, the webinars are free, totally free. There's no, it's free. You just register and you can join, but they're not easy.
Yeah.
If you come to the webinar, it's an interactive webinar. It's not those webinars that you sit and being a vegetable and I'm talking. That's not the story.
Yeah.
The story is if you are willing to do some work and willing to ask questions and participate and be part of the conversation, you are welcome. Otherwise, you can come. I will not kick you out. But seriously, you're wasting your time. Don't come. That's my advice to you. Like if you come to be a vegetable and to listen only, don't come. Why? I'll explain to you why, so you'll see why I'm so adamant about I want everyone to participate in my webinars. If you are in the webinar, for as long as in the webinar, I expect you to participate. Why? Because I care about you. What do I mean? If I will ask you to inhale like that, as good as you are, you'll see that after 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute, 1 minute and 15 seconds, you will have to exhale. True or false?
Yes.
True. Now, when I talk to you, you inhale information. When I talk to you, inhale information, you go like that. After 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, you get choked. And you find yourself daydreaming, opening your phone, looking for messages, losing the idea, and you're not with me, and you think that you've been with me, and you wasted your time because you didn't do the phone cycles properly, and you didn't do the webinar correctly. So why should you do that? Like you did nothing. It's actually, you get misdefinition, you get misunderstanding. So it will actually harm you. So if you come only if you are willing totally to be there. I know most of the people that are doing webinars and so on, they're telling me, why do you say that? You just need a lot of people. I don't need a lot of people because I don't want to damage people. And I will damage you if you just sit and inhale. I want to help you for real. And to help you for real, you need to do the job. I'm just giving you pointers. You do the job. So if you want to come and do nothing, it's not the webinar for you. If you come and you're really serious about becoming Jewish, come. When I say becoming Jewish, is having a lot of money, having income. And it's not only income, yes?
Yeah.
Because the income is just a unit of measurement, yes? Your income is a unit of measurement. But actually what we're changing viewpoints.
Yeah.
We're removing those shadows that hide hide from you everything that you can be. We're removing these shadows, and once these shadows are gone and you realize they're just shadows, they're nothing, you will see that your life become in all areas of life unbelievable. And it have to be in all areas of life. You cannot improve someone spiritually but is hungry. Bullshit. If someone is good, is good. Yeah. Like Michael Jordan was not just good in basketball. Yes, he was good in everything that he touched. He played good. He made money. He did that. He had good things going on all over. He was a good leader. He was because he's good. You cannot be good in. People say, well, I'm spiritual. I just want to be good spiritual. Nonsense. You cannot be spiritual and hungry. You understand? Because if you're hungry, you are worried. If you're worried, you are not spiritual. You are anything other than spiritual. You understand? It's just nonsense. It's just inability to look at the truth in the face and to come up with some kind of an excuse why it's okay that I'm useless. No. The thing to do is to decide, no, it's not okay. I'm going to handle it. And if you're ready to handle it, welcome. If not, you're still welcome. But I'm telling you, between us, you're wasting your time. Don't come. Don't press the link because the click is a waste of time. Make sense?
Yeah, it definitely does. And I've seen one of the running jokes among people who are a part of your group. refer to ourselves as Ezra Town, is this idea of the name of the seminar is completely irrelevant. You did a series of seminars on the Parents Academy on how to raise kids. But the issue is you're not just learning about how to raise kids, you're learning how to deal with people, because that's all kids are just little people, small bodies, but they're the same spirit. They're the same, like the interaction is exactly the same, but we tend to, because they're in a small body, we think less of them, or we have these expectations. Well, you taught us, how that actually works. And what I saw was it doesn't just apply to kids. It applies to my business. It applies to my wife. It applies to my in-laws. It applies across the board. And so that's one of the things that I really love about you, is that you're so willing to give people these tips and tricks that they can use across the board. It's not just, oh, well, this is how you can do yoga.
Yeah. It's really, truth will undo lies. And because it's undo lies, it's affect all your life, because as I said at the beginning, it's your viewpoint that define the result. Okay. That was excellent. Really nice talking to you, John. Thank you for everyone for joining. Thank you for participating. Thank you for the questions. If you have questions that I did not ask, that I did not answer, join the webinar. It's in my bio in Instagram. The link is in my bio in Instagram. It is on the screen on Facebook and YouTube, and it is www.meirezra.com/yoga. Maybe you will say it in a better accent.
All right, it's www.meirezra, meirezra.com/yoga. Thank you so much, Meir.
When he says he means Z. He's just an American saying Z. Okay, thank you. I love you. I love you all. Thank you, Amit and Swapna, for helping us. Thank you for Shamaya for organizing all of that. Thank you, John, and mostly thank Gali that helped me so much. I love you. Gali is my son, and he is unbelievable. And I'm not biased at all.
No, yeah, completely.
Okay, love you. Thank you. Bye-bye.